We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans. But you know that if there was any way that she...
Adam Silver just saw the WNBA's biggest star leave the All-Star game because of an injury. Another headline, another injury. Couldn't be worse. The CBA talks are falling apart and rumors of a lockout are getting louder. Clark's absence from the league's biggest weekend has NBA executives sweating bullets. The warnings aren't just fan noise anymore. They're coming from the top. So the real question is, should Adam Silver be worried about how the WNBA is treating its most prized star when everything is at stake? Let's take it apart. What just happened isn't a small thing, it's a gut punch. Caitlin Clark said on Thursday afternoon that she won't play in the All-Star game on Saturday or the three-point contest on Friday, since she hurt her groin again on Tuesday. But this isn't just any old injury. And this isn't just any old weekend. It's happening right in the thick of contentious CBA talks that might decide whether the WNBA even makes it to the 2026 season.
I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, I other than as a fan, obviously, you know, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly.
Adam Silver once said, "Of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league." But now, watching the WNBA's brightest players sidelined from their greatest event because of what seems like injury mismanagement, it's got to be setting off alarms. When a commissioner from a partner league speaks out against player treatment, that's not simply a mild nudge. That's a flare in the sky, a warning shot. And everyone in the WNBA front office just heard it.
There she would be. Shortly before the show, Clark released this statement through the Fever's social media account saying that she's so excited for Indiana to host WNBA All-Star this weekend, and that she says she knows that this is going to be the best All-Star yet. But she does go on to say how incredibly sad and, quote, disappointed she will be to not be able to participate, adding, quote, "I have to rest my body. I'll still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all of the action. I'm looking forward to..."
The timing of Clark's injury couldn't be worse for the WNBA, and it's time to quit tiptoeing about who's to blame. Kathy Engelbert has absolutely lost the ball as commissioner when it comes to preserving the league's most valuable player. Even respected sports columnist Christine Brennan has gone public, calling out Engelbert's odd inability to even communicate effectively about Caitlin Clark. When questioned about Caitlin, she responds with Caitlin and Angel. But here's the thing, no one asked about Angel. They asked about Caitlin, and that clever deflection speaks more than she thinks. This is the commissioner who's meant to be the face of the league, the one championing its biggest star. And yet, she can't even speak Caitlin Clark's name without diverting off to talk about someone else. That's not leadership. That's dysfunction at the top. And the numbers? They don't lie. They shout. Nationally televised WNBA viewership has fallen 55% since Clark's injury. Fever national TV games? Down from an average of 81 million viewers to just 847,000. A crushing 53% drop, millions of cash gone. And Engelbert? She's pretending the house isn't on fire. Now let's rewind to the moment that sparked this fuse, the officiating fiasco. Kinesiologist Dr. Lucas Seehafer reports 141 injuries since opening day. Keep in mind, there are only 179 active players across the whole league, and each team has played just 44 games. That's not a red flag, that's a 5-alarm blaze. Math like that should have had Engelbert flipping tables and demanding reform. But instead, she's out here handling the league's biggest problem with all the conviction of a silk dress in a thunderstorm. The system is breaking, and the person in control is watching it happen in real time.
In terms of the way the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, who I've known and I like, The way she has trouble talking about Caitlin Clark, or if she's asked about Caitlin, then she will say, well, Caitlin and Angel. Well, she wasn't asked about Angel, she was asked about Caitlin. This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious. It is astounding to me how Kathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabry hit and say that's unacceptable, the refs got it wrong.
The officiating has been so absurdly terrible that WNBA veteran Rebecca Lobo couldn't stay silent. During a live broadcast, she lay it bare. There's a grab. There's a hold. There's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And then here, that's a foul. That's foul. Clark was being hacked all over the court, and the whistles never came. When icons of the game start calling out referees in real time, that's not just shoddy officiating. It's a crack in the foundation. Even Clark's own coach couldn't ignore it. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back, adding, "I thought she got fouled." I think it's very egregious what's been happening to us the previous several games. The disdain right now for our squad has been pretty astonishing. When a coach starts using words like egregious and disrespect, this isn't heat of the moment frustration. It's a straight attack at a system that's failing the very players it's designed to protect.
The ball handler, there's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean,
all of those are
fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul, and finally they call.
The true breaking point came after that Connecticut Sun game, as Clark absorbed hit after hit with no protection in sight. That's when White finally broke, adding, "Everybody's getting better except the officials." It wasn't just a soundbite. It was a full-blown diatribe, minutes lengthy, when she tore into Tuesday's refs for utterly losing control and didn't hold back in condemning the league, and its officials for refusing to develop with the game.
Who has played 9 years in Indiana and now on the staff. And that's a live shot now.
She went on, "Every year at those league meetings in the fall and spring, we repeat ourselves again and again and again, and still nothing changes."
Game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
That's a coach, out loud, telling the world the league has known about these officiating concerns for years and still hasn't raised a finger to remedy them. Under Angelbert's watch, the refs have only become worse, even as the league has risen in both popularity and relevance. The moments that lead to Clark's current injury, they're straight out of an officiating nightmare. Marina Mabry shoved Clark to the floor after a dead ball, originally called only a technical, before the WNBA hurried to raise it to a flagrant 2 after fans exploded. The refs couldn't get it right when it mattered, and only fixed it once the indignation bubbled over. Even Clark's brother, Colin, resorted to social media to call them out, saying, "Make no mistake, this is on the reffing," after watching his sister fall down.
You guys as an organization are doing, I mean, you're speaking out at this point, but anything more that you are doing or you hope to do to engage in the league and addressing these issues with the officiating that you've been very vocal with?
Yeah, I mean, I think every year when we have our league meetings in the fall and in the spring, we say the same thing over and over and over.
When family members start speaking out about poor game management, it's no longer just frustration. It's a cry from people witnessing someone they love get hurt because the officials fail to perform their jobs. And Angelbert's response? Absolutely pathetic. When asked about the mounting officiating complaints, she shrugged it off with, "I do find it interesting when you sit in the chair I sit in that no winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain about officiating." That's not leadership. That's arrogant dismissal from someone who clearly doesn't grasp what's occurring. And the business fallout? Massive. In 2024 alone, 23 WNBA games exceeded 1 million viewers, and Clark was part of all but 3. If you look at the most watched WNBA games this season, you have to go all the way to number 15 before you find one that didn't contain the Fever. Clark isn't simply a star. She's basically carrying the league's whole viewership. And still, Angelbert can't even keep her safe. The financial stakes are just as huge. ESPN saw a 170% surge in WNBA ratings, with viewership climbing from 454,000 to over 2 million on average in 2024. ION followed with a 133% rise over previous year. And all of it, every single boost, is due of Clark. Angelbert's failure to protect her isn't just negligent, it's putting hundreds of millions in future earnings on the line. The missed calls, the reckless play, it's been building all season. Just look at Tuesday's Fever Sun game. 5 technicals, 3 ejections, 2 flagrant fouls, and a total fiasco. The refs never had control. This wasn't just one bad stretch. This was anarchy, and it happened because no one ever held the officials accountable. They've been permitted to operate without standards. And the betting market? That's where the truth shows. Sports betting on Indiana Fever games dropped over 50% just 1 week after Clark got hurt. That's half the action gone simply because she wasn't on the floor. When the markets react so swiftly to one player's absence, it's a blatant sign of how much money the league loses when Clark isn't playing. But Silver's concerns go beyond just keeping players safe. He's made it clear Clark's presence is excellent for women's basketball, but he's also voiced dissatisfaction with the way she's being treated. And when the NBA commissioner is stating that out loud, that's code for fix this mess before we have to step in. Because these officiating failures, they aren't just about Clark. They're baked into something far bigger. Kelsey Plum couldn't keep back. She broke loose in a profanity-laced rage after absorbing hit after hit, claiming, "I get fouled like that on every possession." There are many shots where they're just going out and just swinging, and they just don't call anything. And it's not just Clark. Multiple elite athletes are getting roughed up night after night. Angelbert's silence on all of this is especially striking given how swiftly the league is rising. Players and coaches are repeating the same thing. Games are called inconsistently. What's a foul on one end doesn't get called on the other. And what's whistled in the first quarter gets overlooked in the fourth. That's not basketball. It's anarchy claiming to be a professional sport. And with the All-Star weekend in full swing, the timing couldn't be worse. Clark's visage is everywhere in Indianapolis, at the airport, outside the arena, even on the exterior of hotels. The city is hosting the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, but she won't be playing. She's injured. Again, the city basically constructed the entire event around her. And now she's trapped on the bench, sidelined because the officials and league leadership didn't do their job to protect her. And then there's the CBA, adding a whole other dimension of urgency. WNBA players are already prepared for a potential work stoppage if meaningful progress isn't made soon, with the current pact slated to expire on October 31st, 2025. So now, the league's facing sky-high labor stress, and its biggest talent is missing the all-talent game because of injury mismanagement. And the timing? Historically terrible. Clark never missed a single game in college or in her debut year. But this season, she's already had to sit out twice. First 5 games in May with a left quad issue, then 5 more before her return in July due to a groin injury. This is someone who was practically unbreakable for years, and suddenly she can't remain on the court. WNBA management is playing with fire. The financial realities should alarm everyone involved. Clark's return game pulled in 2 million viewers, peaking at 8 million. An astounding 76% spike over last season's average for WNBA games on ABC. When just one player can cause that kind of spike, her absence isn't just noticeable, it's a financial calamity. And Angelbert's shortcomings don't stop at safety. Her errors in promotion are just as detrimental. Christine Brennan even acknowledged she likes Kathy Angelbert, but made it clear the league office has to do better when it comes to promoting its most bankable talent. When renowned seasoned writers are publicly calling out the commissioner for failing to market the league's biggest draw, that's not simply a critique, it's organizational malpractice. The officiating situation has gotten so terrible, fans are even organizing online petitions solely to demand responsibility. One states, since Caitlin Clark's arrival to the league, Games involving the Indiana Fever have repeatedly been marred by questionable officiating, missed calls, and a lack of appropriate disciplinary action for overly aggressive and dangerous play. When your fans are organizing petitions, that's not just criticism, it's a full-blown insurrection. And the injury pattern? It's getting impossible to ignore. Sports expert Rachel DA broke it down, noting Clark's problems are shifting quad to quad, then groin to groin, saying you can't mess around with injuries that are moving around your body because it means that mechanically something isn't tracking right. Translation: the ongoing physical suffering Clark experiences because of poor. This level of shoddy officiating isn't just dangerous, it's breaking Clark down physically. Her body is having mechanical troubles from the repeated, unregulated hits. And the wider picture? It's astonishing. The 10 biggest WNBA viewers since 2002 all happened this year. All featured Clark. When a single player is behind every ratings record in over 2 decades, losing her to preventable injuries isn't just a tragedy, it's malpractice at the highest level. Silver's prior words about wanting Clark treated fairly suddenly hold a whole new weight when you understand what's at risk. The league was set to exceed $1 billion in revenue this year, primarily because of her. And when that type of billion-dollar prediction depends on one individual, her health isn't just important, it's survival. The disparity between what Clark provides and how she's being handled couldn't be more evident. Her final collegiate game with Iowa garnered 12. 3 million people, the most watched women's college basketball game ever, followed by her Final Four game drew 14. 2 million viewers, making it ESPN's most watched basketball game ever. Clark had previously demonstrated she could draw in audiences at a historic level, and now the WNBA is wasting that once-in-a-generation momentum via sheer stupidity. All-Star Weekend suddenly feels like a metaphor of everything broken under Angelbert's leadership. The occurrences echo the larger difficulties emerging in the CBA talks, players seeing all this new money pour in and understandably seeking their share. But how can you even start a revenue-sharing conversation when your best moneymaker is frequently sidelined because of lousy officiating? And the global picture isn't much better. If the home league can't preserve its brightest star, overseas competitions start to look a whole lot more enticing. Every amount of progress, every huge headline is related to Clark's health and presence, and Angelbert's failure to safeguard that is putting the entire future of the league at danger. And that's the most agonizing part of all this. That future didn't have to be at danger. The most damning thing about this entire catastrophe is how preventable it was. With better officiating, true leadership from the commissioner's office, and a serious commitment to protecting star players, none of this had to happen. Instead, we've got a league where referees aren't even salaried. They're paid per game, and many split their time with NCAA basketball, creating a dual-role system that's riddled with difficulties. That kind of setup means these officials aren't taught the way they should be, and they have no real motivation to defend the league's most valuable assets. And now, the result? Your biggest star, the one you built everything around, is sitting out the All-Star game in her home state because the people in charge of protecting her couldn't or wouldn't perform their jobs. Silver's worries aren't just polite advice from a partner league. They're a warning. A clear sign that the NBA is observing how the WNBA is handling its most valuable asset, and they're not exactly impressed. When you've got billion-dollar media deals and huge expansion plans on the table, you just can't afford to have your commissioner and officials failing at such a basic, fundamental level. Angelbert's blunders have put the whole WNBA in risk. The officials can't defend Clark. The ratings nosedive when she's gone. And now she's missing the league's biggest weekend. Silver's message? It's not a suggestion, it's an ultimatum. Fix the officiating. Protect your stars. Or stand by and watch everything come apart. The WNBA best pay attention, because this fact doesn't come with a warning label. It comes with repercussions.